Well, I was wrong about Bitcoin. I think a lot of people were, but let's talk about it. So, originally I had thought that by the end of 2021, that the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin was going to come to an end. And so far, I don't really know what's going on. I know for sure that we haven't seen a parabolic run-up like I thought we were going to see, like it happened in 2017. That was what I was waiting for to signal for the end of the 4-year Bitcoin cycle. It didn't really happen how I thought it would, though. It went up to 69,000 in November, but it was a gradual move up. It wasn't really a parabolic run-up like it happened in 2017. So it wasn't really what I was looking for, and who knows, maybe 69,000 was the top, which I could see that. That's a social media number, and it doesn't surprise me that it stopped there. So maybe that was the top, maybe it wasn't. So the question you may have now is, what do we do now? If that was the top, how do we react? If that wasn't the top, how do we react? So for me, I'm making another plan that's kind of along the same lines as the first one, but my plan before was to have two plans set aside. One for if it topped out at the end of 2021, and another plan for if we continued through with the extended cycles theory like a lot of people have been talking about. Now that 2021 is over, it's obvious that the first part of my plan didn't go through how I thought it was, so it's time to make some adjustments. Another thing, if you're curious about the shirt that I got it from another YouTuber, one of my favorite automotive YouTube channels, Handbrake Jake from Wheeled Automotive. I'll put a link in the description if you want to get some of his merch. I think his videos are really fun to watch, so you should check him out. So in order to make my new plan, I'm going to take in some of the theories that have been tossed around recently and kind of go through the possibilities in order to make a well-researched plan. So some of the theories that have been going around is the theory of lengthening cycles. So with the theory of lengthening cycles, some people have been saying that they think the Bitcoin cycle is actually going to go on until about June of this year. And other people are saying that it could even go into 2023. So this is something that we could kind of look at and say, okay, maybe it's going into this territory. And some of those people have been saying that if that's the case, they think that Bitcoin is going to go to 200 or 300,000. So I guess we'll see if it goes that way. I'm not sure. I really don't know quite what it's doing. But I'll make a plan accordingly if Bitcoin is going to go to 200 or 300,000, or even if it goes lower, if it goes in it makes another top around 69,000, I'll make the first part of my plan to play out towards that kind of a scenario. Now the second part is going to be based on another theory. Some people have been saying that crypto has become so mainstream, or the adoption of crypto has become so great, that the crypto market is going to start acting like the stock market. It's not going to have huge crashes because there's so much money into it now, that it's going to be more smooth. We're going to see ups and downs, but they're not going to be as crazy as before. And that theory may sound good, but I don't think we're quite at the level of adoption yet for that kind of cycle to start playing out. Because the market cap for the entire stock market is around 30 trillion, I think. And the market cap for the whole crypto market was only around 2 trillion. So that's like if you took Tesla and Apple, put them together, both of those companies alone are around the same value of the entire crypto market. So I don't think we're at a place in adoption yet to where crypto can be working just like the stock market, because I don't think there's enough money in it yet to keep it from being more smooth, to smooth out all the volatility. So with all that being said, what do we do now? So my plan is to look first at the previous all-time high from the previous cycle. So in 2017, Bitcoin topped out pretty close to about $20,000. So I'm going to create that as my new base point for Bitcoin, thinking that most likely it's not going to go below that previous all-time high. If it does, then that's a really good buying point. If it doesn't, then the closer it gets to it is a good buying point, because that's near the new theoretical bottom. So as it gets closer to the bottom, I'm going to start focusing more on buying in more. As it gets closer to the older top, which was right now 69,000, then I'll start thinking more about buying less and possibly selling. So that's the very basic forms of my plan, is to look for when it starts getting lower and start buying more, find the different projects that I like and start focusing mostly on those and buying more of them, look at the things that are down, look at why they're down, and if they're down just because of the sentiment or things like that, nothing is fundamentally wrong with them, then I'm going to start buying more of those. So the reason I'm going to focus kind of on this style of a plan is because this is what I had done in July. So in July, everything was really low. Everybody was really mad about everything that was going on with crypto. And I was trying to buy as much as I could. And as I got as much invested in there as I could afford, then when things went into November, all of the money I had put in had doubled. So when it got close to the top, I sold off quite a bit and reallocated the money I had in different investments, paid off some debts, and did a few other things. And I kind of got lucky because I felt like it was getting to a good point where I should sell a little bit, but I had no idea that I was going to be close to a top. So when I sold, it was at a good spot, but I had no idea that we were at a top. I thought it was going to go much further. So in a way, I burned myself because I reallocated some of my investments into other things when it was close to the top. But at another point, I sold some of the other things when it was close to a top, and I made a decent amount of money off of it. So I know that it's not of the popular opinion to sell things. Mostly on social media and everything right now, everybody's saying, oh, you have to hold forever, you have to have diamond hands and hodl. But there's no shame in taking profits when you need the money. If you get in at a low spot and then it goes up to a higher spot and you're making money, you're in the green and you're in the profits, take some of that. You never know when it's going to go back down. Yes, it could always go up higher. And that's something that everybody always talks about. They always say, oh, if I would have held it longer, I could have made so much more. But you can't think like that. If you're making money, take some off the table and use it to pay off your debts. Use it to do other things. If you're making life-changing money, take some of that. You can always put more back in later when things have gone back down or at different times, depending on different projects and things. But if you're making money, take some. Keep some for yourself. Don't just hold all the way through and watch it go all the way back down again. Because what most people do is most people get in when everything's going crazy, they buy at the top and then watch it all go down to the bottom and then they sell because they get all mad. But if you're doing it the right way, you're buying in when everybody's mad about crypto as down, like right now, everything's down. Now is a good time to buy in. And then when it goes back up and everybody gets all crazy again and they start buying because it's really high, then take some of your money. There's no shame in that. So where does this diamond hands, hodl forever mentality come from? Well, I think it's somebody's interpretation of how a lot of rich people preserve their money. This is for people that have already made it. Not for people that are trying to create wealth, but for people that are trying to preserve their wealth. And what the rich people do is they accumulate assets over time, and then once their assets get big enough, they can use those assets as collateral to pull out loans and borrow money against their assets. And this has huge tax advantages and all sorts of other benefits that rich people can do. So that mentality of accumulating and acquiring assets is a good thing that you can use in the future, but right now, if you've got debts and you've got different things that you need to use that money to change your life, take the money when you're up in the green. Don't just feel embarrassed about paper handing and selling out. You should take that profit and use it to change your life so that you can do better investing in the future. Don't be ashamed to take money when you are in the profits. So now another question you may have is, do I think that crypto is dying off or do I think we're in a bear market? And to answer both of those questions, I don't think we're in a bear market yet. We might be in a mini bear market, kind of like we were in July, but I don't think we're in a real bear market yet. I think it's going to have to go down lower for us to feel that. So I think all the macroeconomic things that are going on right now with Russia and Ukraine, and with the Fed taper coming up and with the Fed getting ready to raise interest rates again. All this uncertainty is causing a lot of fear, and people aren't sure what to do with their money, with their investments, and so that's why everything is kind of fading down right now, which in my opinion, when all this crazy stuff is going on, this is the best time to start putting money in. And it's kind of scary to do it at first because as it starts falling, you think, well, it could keep going down. But usually, if you're just taking little bits of your paycheck and putting money into your different investments as things are going down, it usually plays out pretty good for you. So to answer the question, I don't think we're in the traditional bear market for crypto yet, but I'm not quite sure. We're just gonna have to watch and see what happens, especially if we're in the extended cycles theory and everybody thinks that things are gonna do really well after the interest rates get raised and crypto's gonna spike back up again. You wouldn't want to sell right now and then watch it go up. So make sure you don't put in money that you can't afford to lose, and make sure you don't put in money you can't afford to live without for some time, because right now is a good time, in my opinion, to accumulate more. Also, even though I was wrong about Bitcoin and crypto, I don't think crypto is dying. I think crypto is just getting started, and all of the things that I've said in my other videos, I still feel very confident in all of those things. I think that crypto is going to become a huge part of the technology in our future, and I think it's going to become a big part of the infrastructure of the internet going forward also. So I think it's still a really good investment for longer term, but also in the short term, there's also still lots of ways to make money in crypto as well. So right now, I'm kind of back into the accumulation phase. I still have a lot of XRP, and I'm going to plan on keeping that and waiting for the lawsuit to get settled to see the results. Hopefully it goes in the favor of Ripple. And I'm also starting to accumulate a lot more of Cardano as well, because I was accumulating it before and then it went up to around $3, and it was kind of at a point where I felt more comfortable putting money into XRP instead of Cardano. But now Cardano has gone back down to $1, and I feel like it's at a really good price point, and so I'm buying more of that. And I feel like all of the different things that Cardano has been announcing and getting ready to do and doing all these things, they're finally starting. So Cardano is just starting now, and all of the different projects are starting to work, and it's cool to see all these different things that they've been talking about actually in play. So Cardano is another good one that I really like, that I'm going to be working to accumulate more of. And I'm also getting back into Ethereum, because Ethereum was one of my biggest positions before, but it was also one that made me the most money. And so when it was at the top, I sold almost all of it. Because I had made so much money off of it, I didn't want to miss the opportunity to cash that money in. So Ethereum is another one that I really like, and that's another one I'm going to be accumulating heavily. And I'm going to keep doing research on more, because I know that there are a lot of different projects that are really good. I know Solana was one that did really well. They're having a lot of issues lately, but the price movement was really good. And another one that I really like was Avalanche. They're another one that's kind of just starting out. But I'm also really looking into the metaverse and gaming type cryptos, because I feel like if we do go into a bear market, everybody's going to lose interest in crypto, and they're all going to leave, they're all going to take their money, the prices are all going to go down really low. But if the crypto gaming and metaverse can prove themselves, the gamers will stay, and other gamers will come in, and then when the cycle starts to go back up again, the gaming ones are going to do really well. So that's another thing that I'm looking for during the bear market type crashes, is to look into the metaverse and the gaming style coins, and the different ecosystems and the coins that are integrated into the ecosystems. And if some of the games are fun, maybe I'll try them out. So those are some of the other ones that I'm looking at. And if any of you have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the bear market to come up, now is the time for you to start paying attention. Because if things start going down more, it's going to be a good time to get into some of the altcoins and even into Bitcoin. And if things don't go down yet, you're still kind of getting ready for that time when Bitcoin could go down, or there could be a crypto crash. So we're kind of waiting for the so-called crypto winter to come in, when everything is going to crash and go back down to their lows for the next few years. So it's a good time to start paying attention for these different things to happen. So I'm excited, and I'm curious to see what the next couple of months and the next couple of years brings. But I want to keep paying close attention to see how things play out. When things get low like this, I'm going to start buying in more. When things get higher, I'll probably keep buying in and start taking some of the money out of it, depending on what I need and how much I make. If I'm making serious gains that can help me make some big differences and pay off a lot of debts, I'm going to take some of that money when things are higher. So kind of just pay attention and keep track of what's going on. Be on your toes. If you've been on the sidelines, like I said, now's the time to start paying attention, start looking at different things that you're kind of interested in, because it could go down more, and if it goes down more, that's a good time to get in. If we start going back into a bear market, that's a good time to get in. If it's not going back up, then we kind of just pay attention to see and watch for that parabolic run up. If we see that parabolic run up like we saw in the end of 2017, it's very likely that there's going to be a crash afterwards. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I think all of these different things have got